it's TxStampin Sharon. I am bringing you lots of fun tips and tricks on today's video. I'm using a new stamp set called Art Gallery. I love it. I'm going to be showing you 6 different cards, and I hope that I inspire you. I hope to get those creative juices flowing. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I invite you to subscribe below, and then afterwards hit that notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a video or I go live on YouTube. If you currently already don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd be honored to help you with your Stampin' Up! Supply needs. You can find out how to contact me, my website, my blog, sign up for my newsletter below the video. Let's get to stamping. On today's video, we're going to meet the Fine Art Floral Suite. Oh my. This is why I bought the whole suite. Just the gold leafing. So fun. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The stamp set is the Art Gallery bundle, and it is a 2-step stamp set that allows you to create one image with lots of different details and depth. The ribbon, the embossing folder, brought back heat and stick powder, and then this beautiful paper. I'm going to show you everything that I have. So obviously I've been making some cards, but here is one pattern, and then there's the back side. It's just so pretty. I say that it could be framed because it's so pretty. So this one goes this way, and then the back. And then we have this pattern and the back. So fun. I mean, you just want to touch it because you think it's got like texture to it, but that's how it was created. Then we have the acetate sheets. So pretty. And they match up to the designer series paper. Way cool. Then we have this pattern. And then this one, again, matches up to the designer series papers. Here is the beautiful ribbon, nice and soft. And I mentioned that we were going to talk about the gold flakes again. I have found that I put it in a good deep size container because it does tend to fly away. And I have used a ton of it. You can see how much I have in here, but you can also see how much I still have. This stuff is gonna last me forever. And keep in mind, you can use this with other stamps, not just the Art Gallery. So here is the first card that we're gonna be playing with the gold leafing with. It's just a wedding card. I've used the embossing folder. I've used the painted textures embossing folder just on a piece of Whisper White. So of course, here is the stamp set and the dies. This actually cuts out words that say, just want to say. You could say anything. You could say happy birthday, congratulations, I miss you, good luck, sorry, just on and on. So many great words. I always recommend, especially if you're new to stamping, that you start out with a stamp set that has images and words. You have so many different options when you do that. So I have 6 cards that I'm going to share with you today. And for the month of January, anyone who places any size order on my website will get a free tutorial with those 6 cards with all the step-by-step instructions. So just another way to give you some more ideas. So I've already embossed my layer of Whisper White for our card that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 with the embossing folder. I just love this. I mean, the texture on it. I'm so bad. I can walk through a store and I have to touch everything because I love the textile feelings. I have I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I have scored it at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of scrap paper that we're going to be doing our stamping with. I'm going to be stamping my first image using the Mary Merlot ink pad. So we're going to stamp that here. And you do want to make sure that that is good and dry before you do the next step. So we're going to stamp our leaves, and we're going to go, we'll come back to this in a bit. So I'm going to stamp my leaf using my Versamark ink pad. And then while I still have my Mary Merlot out, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. On the other cards that I'm going to show you, you have so many different ways that you can even change up my versions. So I think you're going to be excited about it. I hope you enjoy the cards. So now we're going to use our Versamark again. When you're using the gold leafing, you need a tacky adhesive, but just the Versamark is not an adhesive. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp the second step using the Versamark. And the ink stays wet for quite a while, so that's why I'm not rushing about using my leaf yet. So now I'm bringing in my heat and stick powder, and I'm going to pour the heat and stick over my Versamarked images. Now when you heat and stick powder, it does have a bit of an odor to it. It's not bad. I don't even know what it smells like, but you'll definitely be able to tell that you'll be able to smell something. And I'm not going to fast forward the video when I do the heating. I want you to see how quickly that the heat and stick powder will actually melt. I don't want you to overheat it because then the gold leafing won't stick to it. You can also use the heat and stick powder for like adding glitter. If you have glitter, you can use it for that as well. Again, that's it, okay? Don't overheat it or it won't be as sticky. You'll know if you overheated it. So now I'm gonna bring this back in. I highly advise you not to sneeze, cough, laugh, anything, because this stuff just flies. It is very lightweight. I mean, it is so fun. You can take the big pieces if you want and just place them on your image. You don't have to. I have just found that as long as I have some under my finger and I just kind of rub it around, it will stick where I need it to on that Versamarked image. And we're going to keep working on this to get it cleaned up a bit. But for now, we're going to go to the leaves. Now I have this very soft brush that I use. I don't recommend a toothbrush. Those bristles are too stiff, but if you have like a stippling brush or anything that's super soft like this, that will help you get the gold flakes off until you can see the outline of your image and you get all the excess off of the paper. Okay, So now I'm going to take all this to my die cutting machine and cut everything out. So even though I was very careful, I kept my flakes in the container, you can see that I still have some flakes on my work surface. A Swiffer sheet will work really well to just clean all that up for you. I know, you're supposed to use these to dust your furniture, I think, but I use them in my stamp room, my craft room, all the time. Okay, we're ready to assemble our card. I'm going to show you a few more ideas how to use the gold leafing on my other cards. So I'm going to use some liquid glue and then have to decide which side do I want. Yeah, I want this side up. Liquid glue is really going to get down into those grooves and keep this layer from popping off. It's just a simple little wedding card, but it can be used for anything. Like I said, it has so many sentiments in the stamp set. Just change it up. I am going to use liquid glue on the back of my leaves. Hold that for just a second. And then for the back of my flower, I'm going to use some dimensionals. And you know, as far as the wedding goes, if you were making a wedding card and you know the bride's colors, just make that flower closer to her colors that she is using for her wedding. We're going to add this here. And then I have some mini dimensionals that I'm going to put on the back of our sentiment layer. Oh, I also want to mention sometimes the gold flaking sticks to your nail polish if you wear polish. Just simply go to the sink and wash your hands, comes right off. There we go. That card's done. Now let me show you, whoops, we're not done. I have the little metallic pearls and I thought it would be pretty to add a few of those on. I don't know what I would do without my Take Your Pick tool. It really does help picking up these tiny little embellishments. And of course the other end, you could actually pick other things up like sequins, things like that. Here's another card for you that I use the Designer Series papers. Oh, and a little wink of Stella. Can you see that? I know some things are hard on the video. And I mentioned that I think the Designer Series papers are so pretty you could just frame them. So I did. I just created a frame and just a simple card. Simple, simple, simple. And here's the one. Just want to say, I'm thinking of you. Ah, how did I do this? I'm going to show you. But again, I just stamped the one image, and I do want to talk about that. This is one solid image. So I struggled with, if I stamped it all in Bermuda Bay, then my leaves were Bermuda Bay, my flowers were Bermuda Bay. I don't know if you can tell, but I took a Mossy Meadow marker and I colored over my stems so that they match. They match the rest of the card. And here's this one. Remember that I told you that the acetate matched up perfectly to the Designer Series papers? I just placed one on top of the other, got it all lined up, cut them all at the same time. So again, I'm going to give you tutorials to make these 6 cards with any order that you place from my website using the host code for January of 2021. Now let me just show you how this happened. Tear and tape. You can take a piece of tear and tape and you can place it along your cardstock. I always like to give a good burnish. Another thing you can do, if you're talented enough, hold on. And what I mean by talented enough, not talented enough to use the Stampin' Seal, because I have mastered that finally. Just to give you a little update, if it's not started, you can just rub it on your silicone mat and it'll start right up. What I meant by talented is, can you do a straight line? Oh, that was pretty good. Normally, not that talented. So see, it does go up a bit. So it is harder to use the, when I put the gold flakes on, you'll understand. It is a little bit harder to use the Stampin' Seal because it's hard to draw a straight line. You know, I thought I did pretty good until I was practicing with it. I was like, oh, I do not draw a straight line. All right, let's get our gold flakes back out. And these containers, I think I just bought like, I don't know, I bought them years ago, but maybe at the Container Store. Just something deep. I didn't really want to use a shoebox, but look how this gold fleck just sticks to itself even, the gold leafing. It just sticks to everything. But if you want it to permanently stick, you need some adhesive. All right, so we're going to put this in here. We're going to get our little brush. And I do want to rub, before I brush off, I want to rub that leafing into the adhesive. You could use our adhesive sheets to do images with the gold leafing. So there's lots of choices. You can't use like liquid glue. I know a lot of you love our liquid glue, but the liquid glue is just too wet. And by the time it dries, then it's not sticky enough for the gold leafing to stick to it. So and then one more little trick with this stuff. Remember our Swiffer friend? I use that too to rub off any excess. Okay, so now you can see how crooked that was, but they both look the same. It's both of them are very solid pieces of adhesive. But again, a little crooked. I don't know, it might be kind of fun just to be crooked on your background. That'd be kind of fun. So I hope that you've enjoyed these tips and tricks using the gold leafing. I love it, and I can't wait to play with more. Happy stamping, y'all.